It's time once again for a look at the best indie games coming out this month. This video focuses on April, and it's a pretty stacked month, with the top end of this list especially featuring some real bangers. So let's get started. Coming in at number 10 we have Conquest Dark, the latest survivor-like, bullet heaven, whatever you want to call these games. As is the theme with a lot of this next generation of bullet heaven games, they take inspiration from not just Vampire Survivors, but some of the other games that have broken through. Conquest Dark goes for a constricted play space similar to Brotato, and looks to draw heavily from ARPGs like Halls of Torment did. In fact, Conquest Dark's pitch is that it's an ARPG in concentrated form. I played the demo during the last Next Fest and it did feel quite like an ARPG, from the choices you make when you level up to the loot system. It looks very pretty as well, and combat feels both flashy and impactful. All in all, it felt like a pretty complete package, and that it might have something about it that would make it worth playing despite the plethora of bullet heaven games available. Conquest Dark arrives on Steam Early Access April 30th. At number 9 we have Escape the Mad Empire. This is a party-based, co-op, roguelike dungeon crawler featuring some pretty natty pixel art. Taking control of a party of 4, either solo or with friends, you fight your way through randomly generated dungeons to try and escape the Mad Empire. You can choose from a pool of 13 classes with skill trees and loot that you can equip on them, all the stuff you would expect. Combat is real-time with pause, allowing you to play strategically and think about how and where to deploy your characters and their abilities. Back at your hub you can construct machines to upgrade or restore heroes, craft, identify or enchant gear and more. It all sounds really fun, and of course playing with friends will only double the fun. Escape the Mad Empire makes its way onto Steam Early Access April 22nd. Next we have strategy game Hollywood Animal at number 8, a management game with a twist. This game is all about building a movie studio and making it successful, which you might choose to do by crushing the competition underneath the boot of an industry behemoth, or conquer the indie scene with a more boutique operation. The world you operate in is not static. There is an emergent narrative bent combined within, as the world around you greatly affects how your studio operates and grows. As this is a game about building a movie studio, you don't just have to think about what buildings to construct. You need to make choices about the types of films you are going to make, the actors and staff you will hire, and even the nitty-gritty like plots and theatre distribution. It sounds like it'll be a fairly deep management sim, and the emergent narrative is sure to make things feel alive and less impersonal than many other sims. It's a heady mix for sure. Hollywood Animal debuts on Steam Early Access April 10th. Coming in at number 7 is Steel Seed, from the team behind Close to the Sun. An action stealth game set within a dark sci-fi world where humanity stands on the brink of extinction. As Zoe and her drone Kobe, you investigate the depths of a hostile underground facility in search of answers and the key to humanity's survival. Gameplay consists of traversing the environment, solving puzzles, and either avoiding or taking down enemies using the dynamic combat system. To help you along the way, Zoe has access to 40 upgrades via 3 distinct skill trees, allowing you a fair amount of customization. It's unusual to get a third-person action game that doesn't have Souls-like elements nowadays, so Steel Seed feels like a breath of fresh air. If the world feels interesting to explore and the story is engaging, this title could end up being a rather compelling prospect. Steel Seed creeps onto PC, PlayStation 5 and the Xbox series of consoles, April 10th. Next up at number 6 is Skin Deep. This is a title that I've heard a lot about but hadn't actually looked into until I played the Next Fest demo recently. The headline is that it's a comedic first-person shooter immersive sim from Blendo Games. You play a character working for an insurance corporation. You are frozen and put onto a ship, and when pirates invade, you wake up and have to deal with them with much mayhem and hilarity ensuing as you sneak, subvert and sabotage in order to survive and see off the pirate menace. The demo featured sneezing, rescuing cats and flushing heads down toilets, which kind of tells you where this game is at. It definitely appeals to my sensibilities, and I can't wait to get stuck into working for our corporate overlords. Skin Deep blasts onto PC April 30th. Heading into the top 5 we have the 100 Line Last Defense Academy. This is the title from some of the original creators behind the Danganronpa series. You play Takumi Sumino, a totally average teenager living in the Tokyo residential complex, who after an attack by strange beings, finds himself trapped in a school with 14 other students who have been drafted into the Special Defense Unit, a team tasked with keeping the school safe for the next 100 days. This is a narrative-heavy game with a side of strategic battles, where choices will greatly affect the outcome and could easily lead to some bad consequences and an even worse ending. The art style and general presentation of the game will put some people off, but like the Danganronpa series, there is sure to be something interesting here for those who take the time to experience what the game has to offer. The 100-line Last Defense Academy marches onto PC and Switch, April 23rd. At number 4 is the latest title from Wadjet Eye Games, Old Skies. For those not in the know, Wadjet Eye make classic-style point-and-click adventure games, but often with a twist. Their last game, Unavowed, was one of the games of 2018, so there is much hype about this latest title. Focusing on time travel, this latest adventure sees you play as time agent Thea Quinn, who is following 7 travellers who have the desire and cash to sightsee in the past. They've paid a lot of money for this experience, so it is your job to keep them happy and make sure they follow the rules. What could possibly go wrong? Old Skies travels onto PC and Switch, April 23rd. Into our top 3 we have Mandragora Whispers of the Witch Tree. This is a title that I've had my eye on for a while, with its reveal wowing me with its gorgeous art and fun-looking combat. Mandragora is a dark fantasy action RPG with Souls-like and Metroidvania elements. With promises of a 40-hour story, 6 unique classes, weapon crafting and a vast interconnected world, there is certainly a lot here to justify the slightly higher than usual price of £35, in terms of indie pricing that is. There has clearly been a lot of work put into this game, and it feels like a big budget game in many respects. That's not to say that indie games in general don't take a lot of work and money, just there is something about Mandragora that feels a step up. It reminds me a lot of Moon Studios' work. It'll be interesting to see how this game is received, because at the end of the day this is still a 2D game, and people have a certain expectation about these types of games and how much they're willing to pay. I hope developers Primal Game Studios are successful. Mandragora Whispers of the Witch Tree comes to PC and all the consoles, April 17th. Just missing out on the top spot this month is Blue Prince. However, to be honest, depending on when you ask me, I could easily switch these top 2 around. I think they both have the possibility of being Game of the Year contenders. Blue Prince is a puzzle adventure game with a hint of strategy. You explore Mount Holly, a mysterious manor with shifting rooms. Your goal, make it to the rumoured Room 46. Upon reaching a closed door in Mount Holly, you get to decide which room appears behind it, and each decision will shape the path you take through the manor. The next room may reveal a useful tool, maybe a fiendish puzzle, or a totally new experience. Each day the manor resets, erasing all but any permanent upgrades you might have found. It's a really unique and interesting take on the roguelike genre, and I had a great time with the demo. As I mentioned, I think this title has great potential and could be a standout game for 2025. Blue Prince puzzles its way onto Mac, PC, PlayStation 5 and the Xbox series of consoles, April 10th. Finally at number 1 is Promise Mascot Agency. This is the second game from developer Kaizen Gameworks. Their first game, Paradise Killer, was a crazy murder mystery game that was a brilliant yet underappreciated debut. Their second game looks to continue the madcap nature that was so prevalent in that first title. Promise Mascot Agency is an open-world narrative adventure where you run a mascot agency in a cursed Japanese town. As Michi, an exiled Yakuza, you are trying to piece together the mystery behind what really happened to get you exiled, and at the same time, making sure your mascots don't get into trouble as they carry out their various jobs. As you work in Kasomachi, you start to learn that the town is full of secrets, and someone out there is watching you. It looks and sounds very intriguing, with the visual flair and mania that Kaizen Gameworks brought with their first title very much present here too. Like Blue Prince, this could be a very special game. Promise Mascot Agency comes to PC and all the consoles, April 10th. And that's April. A very strong month, I think. There were some very good games that didn't make my top 10, and as I said, some games that could find themselves in the Game of the Year conversation. Let me know in the comments below what your favourite games are this month. I hope you liked the video. If you did, it would be great if you could hit the subscribe button, as I'm looking to hit the fabled 1,000 subscribers, so any help will be much appreciated, and it doesn't cost anything. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.